What if we only needed to sleep for 1 hour every day? We all love to sleep in on the weekends. Maybe you've stayed up till late cramming for a test or working on a project and then slept in until noon the next day. But even if you slept in, it probably wasn't just 1 hour. Humans need sleep. How much sleep do we need? Well, it depends on our age. According to the National Sleep Foundation, infants need 12 to 15 hours, school-age children 9 to 11 hours, teenagers 8 to 10 hours, and adults 7 to 9 hours. The amount of sleep that people need varies, but most of us are getting somewhere around 7 to 8 hours per night. But what if humans didn't need to sleep nearly as much as we do now? What if we could get by on just one measly hour of sleep each night? We'll tell you what would have to change to make that possible. This is SCI Show. If you like what we do, support us. The number of hours that humans need to sleep has changed over time. Newborn babies need more sleep than adult humans, and scientists think that this is because their brains are developing rapidly. In fact, the sleep-associated proteins in newborn babies' brains develop twice as fast as the rest of the brain. One scientist compared the growth of these sleep-associated proteins to the rapid development of dendritic spines in the brain during early childhood. These spines are important for learning and memory. So maybe sleep helps with brain development in other ways that we don't fully understand yet. Scientists also think that the amount of sleep that humans need changes based on other factors such as stress and health. And this makes sense because we probably slept more when we were hunter-gatherers than we do now that we live in modern societies. Even today, people who live with chronic pain tend to sleep more than those who don't have pain. So there have been changes in the amount of sleep that humans need in the past, but not drastic changes like going from 14 hours down to just 1. For that kind of major change to happen, something really significant would have to change in our DNA. Our genes control how much sleep we need. Researchers have identified more than 60 genes that influence sleep. Some of these genes are also involved in circadian rhythm, which is the roughly 20 for our cycle that dictates when we feel sleepy and when we are more alert. There are even a couple of genes that dictate how long the different sleep cycles are. So if humans evolved and started needing way less sleep, it would be due to changes in our DNA. But if humans did suddenly start sleeping far less than we do now, that would cause problems. Like our brains wouldn't know how to respond. First, let us talk about what would have to change in our bodies to make it possible for us to sleep for only an hour per night. Our bodies have internal clocks called circadian clocks that help regulate sleep. These clocks are located in almost every cell and they're controlled by our genes. All of the body's circadian clocks work together to keep us alive and alert during the day and asleep at night. They're synchronized by the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN, which is a region in the brain that acts as the master clock. It receives signals from the environment, such as light and temperature, and then tells the other clocks in the body what time it is. That way, all of your body's circadian clocks stay in sync. So if we had to change anything to make 1 hour of sleep possible, we would need to change the master clock in the brain. Changing the genes that control the SCN would change the timing of our circadian rhythm. Instead of being awake during the hours that sunlight hits the earth and asleep when it doesn't, our bodies would follow a new schedule. Then the other clocks in our bodies would have to fall in line. So we would have to alter our genes to make sure that our bodies can survive and thrive on 1 hour of sleep. And it wouldn't be enough to just change the genes in our brains. We would need to change our entire genetic makeup. That is because sleeping for 1 hour instead of 7 or 8 hours would upset the balance in our bodies and could cause some serious problems. When we sleep, our bodies go through various sleep cycles. There's light sleep, then deeper sleep, and then REM sleep, which is when we dream. These sleep cycles repeat throughout the night. If we could only sleep for an hour, we wouldn't be able to go through all of these cycles, and that could throw off our bodies. For example, during REM sleep, our brains process what we learned while we were awake. If we skipped REM sleep for too long, we'd fall further and further behind on processing all of our experiences. Not to mention that not sleeping enough can lead to some serious health issues like obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. Now, you might be thinking, hey, there are people who don't need to sleep much and they seem fine. And it's not like we could just evolve into sleeping for 1 hour. That's because evolution happens over millions of years, and it's driven by natural selection. Natural selection causes individuals with certain traits to have more offspring than individuals without those traits. Over time, those beneficial traits become more common in the population. But what would the benefit be in this case? After all, if humans only sleep for 1 hour, we're not likely to survive. Well, there would have to be some benefit to sleeping only 1 hour that we aren't aware of. Maybe there is some part of our biology that we don't understand yet that would make 1 hour of sleep possible and still allow our bodies to function properly. Or maybe there is an environmental factor that we haven't considered yet that would make it necessary for humans to sleep for only 1 hour. For example, maybe in the future, humans will live in a world full of bright lights. Artificial lighting is already contributing to the fact that people are sleeping less than they used to. So maybe if we continue on this trend, we'll eventually be able to function on 1 hour of sleep. On the other hand, maybe our world will become so noisy that we need to sleep less to block out the sound. Or maybe global temperatures will rise so much that we'll need to sleep less to stay cool. But these scenarios are just speculation. And it seems unlikely that humans could survive if they slept for only 1 hour. Now, let's take a look at what would have to change in our society. If humans could somehow survive on 1 hour of sleep, our society would need to make some major changes to accommodate our new sleep schedule. Humans are social creatures who rely on each other for survival. As a society, we've created institutions and systems that accommodate our current sleep schedule. For example, schools and businesses are typically open during the hours that most people are awake. Hospitals, restaurants, and stores are available when we're hungry or need supplies. Our current society functions because most people are awake during the same hours. If humans could only sleep for 1 hour, we would need to redesign our lives around that new sleep schedule. For example, schools would need to be open overnight and during the day. Some people would work and others would sleep. Then once those people finished their shifts, they would go to school and the first group of workers would sleep. We might have two sets of working hours, one for people who are awake during the day and one for people who are awake at night. Or maybe we'd have more flexible schedules so that people could work when they're most productive. Businesses would also need to change. Stores would probably close during the hours that most people are asleep and only be open for a few hours while everyone else is awake. And hospitals would need to staff both night and day shifts. There's also the issue of transportation. Public transportation is designed for people who wake up and go to bed at roughly the same times. If people are awake at different times, public transportation would need to account for that. Either there would need to be a ton of transportation options available all the time, or people would need to rely on other forms of transportation. And there are other issues as well. Daylight saving time becomes pointless if people aren't sleeping at the same time every day. And jet lag would be a lot more complicated since time zones wouldn't matter as much anymore. Basically, our society would need to overhaul its entire schedule to accommodate a 1 hour sleep schedule for humans. It seems unlikely that we would ever be able to completely change our society like that. So maybe 1 hour of sleep isn't possible for humans. It is probably good that it is impossible anyway, because we would face so many challenges that it is just not worth it. Humans need sleep. It's a basic human need like eating and drinking. Without sleep, our bodies and minds cannot function properly. While some people may be able to function on 5 or 6 hours of sleep, it is highly unlikely that humans could ever evolve to only need 1 hour. Our genetics, society, and daily lives are all structured around sleep. If we could somehow change everything about ourselves to accommodate 1 hour of sleep, we would probably face more problems than we'd solve. But it's always fun to speculate about what would happen if things were different. Thanks for watching this episode of SCI Show. If you liked it, make sure to subscribe to our channel. You can also like and share this video and leave us a comment with your ideas of topics that we should cover in the future.